First, it's hard to figure out just where all the people come from. There's so many of them jamming up the gates and ticket windows, waiting, punching, pushing.
Sorry, no reservations.
Sorry, train sold out.
Who are they? Why weren't they around before? Well, a lot of them had a car once, but its tires and gas went overseas. So now it's either grab a bus if possible, or catch a train, or walk. So they ride if they can get a seat, or if those same steel rails aren't groaning under the most tremendous volume of freight ever carried in railroad history. Super A #1 priority. Down to the ports and to the ships. Anytime. All the time. That should be enough in itself. There's more. There's the soldier. From that first grim 5 a.m. rendezvous with Uncle Sam at the station, from then on in, he's a headache for the railroads. Every 6 minutes of the day and night, a new troop train is starting off from somewhere to somewhere. 30 days a month, 12 months a year, the railroads are bumping and shunting millions of servicemen around the 48 states. And to do it, a half of all the country's Pullman cars and a quarter of all the coaches have been given up to GI service. Troop train, furlough, liberty, pass, orders. The biggest job in railroad history is being done despite the fact that several 100,000 railroad men are in Navy Blues or ODs fighting. So their womenfolk have jumped in to fill the gaps and keep up the back-breaking schedules. Some of the railroad old-timers have been a little skeptical of this temporary help, a little worried about a girl's capacity for hard work. But the 100,000 girls filling in have proved the skeptics wrong. They've done the job. Nope, the railroads haven't let down yet, for all the military pressure. They just sit tight and produce. They keep them rolling.
The unconditional surrender of Italy was announced on September 8, 1943. The conquest of Sicily in 38 days led quickly to this historic climax. The forces that brought about the surrender were set in motion long before the fact in the harbors of England, when the armies of invasion secretly boarded their transports for the Mediterranean. On the shores of North Africa, GIs from all over the United States, from Georgia, Brooklyn, Oklahoma, were packed into the ships with their equipment. The plan that took Sicily and undermined Italy was outlined by the High Command before the keels of some of these invasion barges were laid. General Eisenhower at headquarters in Malta told officers of his command that intelligence estimated enemy strength on Sicily at 350,000 troops. The honor of representing the United States went to the 7th Army. The Armada numbered more than 3,000. Each man knew his exact mission. Customs and traditions of Italy and Sicily were studied. From the time the earliest convoys had begun to form until the day when the full-strength Armada pointed toward Sicily, Africa-based Air Force bombers had been riding through Axis flak to knock out the smaller islands, to drive the enemy back from the Sicilian beachheads, and to explode minefields in the waters of the coast so that our landing barges could come in safely. The final Navy barrage opened up after midnight. The first waves landed at 3 in the morning. English, Canadians, and Americans. Men for whom, up until then, Sicily had never been anything but a name on a map. Some of these soldiers had followed Rommel across Africa and could remember the days when he threatened Egypt. Now they were bringing the war back home to the enemy. Canadians took the center of the attack on the southernmost point of the island. English troops landed on their right and moved north up the shore towards Catania. General Terry de la Mise Allen went in with the 1st Division of the American 7th Army. The sea was rough. 60% of the men were seasick, but they hit the beach running. Blood and Guts Patton took off for the beach of Gela from one of the transports to command the units of the 7th Army in person. Ducks and Higgins boats and barges continued day and night to bring in men and pile supplies up along the beach. Every city and hill and field was fought for. Smashed and burning Axis equipment, mauled by our fire, lined every road. As deputy to General Eisenhower, General Alexander was in tactical command. And Generals Patton and Montgomery were in charge of the 7th and 8th Armies. 2 armies, British and American. Their soldiers came from England, Canada, Australia, and the United States. But rolled into one fighting force, they struck with the impact of a single army. Town after town was shelled, attacked, and taken, with no signs of life but wet wash run up to signify a truce. The people were still hiding in the hills. Signal Corps men kept communications abreast of the advance. Moving ahead, we discovered at every crucial junction and railhead the work that had already been done by our air forces.